Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the SGTech Isolation Economy webinar series, jointly organized with Singapore Business Federation and Singapore Management University Office of Alumni Relations. Thank you to all our friends for joining us again. It's such a pleasure to always be welcoming you guys on Wednesday for our lunchtime webinar series. So today, our topic is about going to cloud for digital transformation in the isolation economy, and basically helping you guys think about the first step you should do to look at cloud solutions. So as always, everything that we share, we try to really meant it for education and learning purposes. Please always seek your own independent and legal advice before making any business or investment decision. At all times, we try our best to make sure the webinar's information is correct. But if there's anything wrong with it, do let us know and we'll be happy to look at the feedback that you have. So my name is Ivan. It's such a pleasure to have you guys joining me today. It's like a weekly series right now. So thank you so much. I'm a co-opted counselor for SGTech. So for our friends who are new to SGTech, SGTech is a premier trade association for the tech industries in Singapore. We basically look after more than 900 members, all the way from the startups to the SMEs to the big boys in the technology space. And this is why we're really doing this isolation economy series. We are here to give you guys solutions and ideas to survive through the time that even next week, after the end of circuit breaker, we are still in a phased approach to opening. So we are still isolated. So we want to give you guys solutions and basically information for you to cope with the isolation economy. So today, after this sharing session, which is information first, we have 5 great vendors, Desira, Scash, Cloudbase, 7 Networks, and Pepper Cloud, to come in to give you guys solutions that you can straight away adopt to use. So please continue staying even after our initial sharing. And always, another big webinar is happening tomorrow. As you know, Deputy Prime Minister Heng Swee Keat announced the Fortitude budget yesterday. So we are going to be talking about how the budget applies to SME owners and moving into the phased approach. It's available tomorrow on 28th of May. You can sign up on the link on isolation.sg. So let's talk about today. Today, all the slides will be uploaded on isolation.sg from our speakers. A link will be sent out as well. The recording of this webinar, usually about 2-3 hours after that, we will be updating it as well. And for those of you who have question and answer for us, please kindly use the Q&A function at the top of your Zoom button so that we can take your question at the end of the session. So today, I'm so lucky to have 3 of my friends joining me. We have Joanna from BIQMIND, Feng Wei from Alibaba Cloud, and Chin Yong from Fund Learners. We have 3 different sharing topics. The first one is going cloud for digital transformation, the different types of clouds, and end user sharing. So without further ado, I'm going to pass my time over to Joanne. But as always, please remember, stay home, save life. Joanne, over to you. So we're waiting for Joanne to join us. Joanne is from BIQMIND, and she's basically going to talk to you guys about how we can adopt cloud solution for your digital transformation. So Joanne, over to you.
Okay, thanks a lot, Ivan and SGTech for this invite. Can everyone see my screen?
Perfect, and I can hear you. Thank you.
Okay, so as Ivan mentioned, I'm actually from BIQMIND. We provide software and services to help companies in their cloud-native journey. And today I'm here to talk to you guys about cloud computing and what's in it for your business. Before I start, just a little bit about my background. I have done mainly advertising and marketing, as well as run large digital projects. So I'm hoping to come at cloud computing from a business standpoint and give you a sense of how it can help you accelerate your business value. Okay, so if you're using any of these brands today, whether it's WhatsApp, Netflix, Lazada, or Zoom, you're already cloud computing, because all of these businesses are all operating on the cloud. A lot of these businesses over this period of time have seen incredible demand, and they would not actually be able to deliver their services well if they were not able to scale via cloud computing. So to give you a tangible example, Zoom since December 2019 has seen a 340% increase in daily users. Without the scale of the cloud computing, they would not be able to service their users well and provide a good experience like the one we're having today. Okay, so in essence, So what is cloud computing? I've seen a lot of different definitions, and to be honest, most of the time I get a little confused, especially when it starts along the lines of it's a network of computers around the world. So what I want to present today is really a very business-led and simple explanation of cloud computing. For me, cloud computing is simply computing power on demand, how you want it and as and when you need it. Just like getting our K-dramas on view on Netflix. It should be that simple as well as easy. But what's in it for your business? The important thing about cloud computing and the core reason why it's so important today is because it allows you to focus on what matters your business without the commitment or responsibility of owning the computer infrastructure beneath. Okay, from a business standpoint, there are multiple benefits. And here I just want to highlight 3 of them. The first one is flexibility. Just now I mentioned at the beginning of this presentation how Zoom has been able to meet increased user demand. In the same way, cloud computing allows you to scale your business needs. So for example, if for example, you want to actually reach out to the massive China audience, you might want to actually set up a storefront in China. You don't have to build that from scratch. You could partner with Alibaba Cloud and set up a storefront that is localized, that is fast and stable for the Chinese audience. So cloud allows you to actually flexibly scale and meet different needs. The second point is also that right now, cloud computing means that you can access advanced technology as services. So let's say, for example, you want to improve customer service on your website by introducing a chatbot. You don't have to build that from scratch. You can subscribe to it as a service and put the chatbot in very easily. Okay, and this could also apply to other solutions such as IoT, data analytics. All of these advanced technologies are now available for you to subscribe to on a per-use basis. And very crucially and importantly is that it's cost effective because you only pay for what you use. In previous times, if let's say you had to buy a computer server to scale up for demand during seasonal promotions, the rest of the times where you're not using that computing power, the server will be sitting there underutilized. But in a cloud native cloud computing world, you pay for what you need either on a per month or a per use basis. So it's a lot more cost effective and resource effective for you. For your stakeholders as well, the benefits also are extended. We've talked about the customer pillar in terms of faster, stable, more secure experiences wherever your customers are in the world. For your employees as well, you can help save time and increase productivity. With this whole remote working the last 2 months during the circuit breaker, we've all seen the benefits of actually having access to files remotely as well as having access to collaboration tools such as messaging. Importantly as well, for your IT and ops teams, you can reduce the cost of infrastructure support and administration so that they can help focus on actually delivering a better overall experience for customers and employees. Okay, so with that in mind, what kind of projects would be considered cloud or digitization projects? I wanted to kind of call out some of the more common areas whereby people are doing getting on board with cloud computing. So in this environment, especially the top line matters and everyone is concerned with actually reaching out to more customers or improving the customer experience. So from a cloud computing perspective, it could mean improving the speed of your website. It could mean actually enabling your business for e-commerce or mobile commerce. It could mean digital storefronts in new geographies or enabling customer self-service on the website. From an operations perspective, you could be actually enhancing remote working or collaboration. So it may mean actually digitizing your documentation, allowing your staff to access remote files. All of these are where right now the cloud solutions are very sophisticated and mature as well as secure. It could mean introducing collaboration tooling or e-learning platform so that your staff can upskill themselves during this time. It could also extend to physical machines where you are able to remotely manage and maintain machines in the factory or on-site. From an IT perspective, you might want to actually migrate to the cloud for faster access or improve your website security. So these are some common areas along which there's a lot of active, mature solutions which are available as services. At BIQMIND, we work with both organizations, large and small. But one common thing that we notice when it comes to actually digital transformation and cloud computing is what I would term analysis paralysis. So analysis paralysis exists, is a state of mind where you are doing a cloud or digital project and you spend so much time analyzing what you need that the project almost never gets off the ground. So I wanted to, in this final part of the presentation, just share my thoughts on how you can practically get your cloud projects out from a business perspective. This, I would say, is kind of an informal framework but it's also very practical points that comes from experience of running digital projects over the year. So the first thing for me is to choose one objective. It could be saving costs, increasing revenue, or increasing productivity. The key thing is to pick one objective. Don't pick multiple objectives. Just focus on one area that you think is very important for cloud and digital transformation. Then the second step is to go out and evaluate solutions, especially if you're not coming in from an IT background. I would not actually scope out the features that you need, but go out and test different solutions. Today, as we talked about earlier, everything's available as a service. So a lot of these services give you 7 or 30-day trials. Try out 3 to 4 solutions. This will give you a pretty good sense of what are the common functionality out there, as well as what are the common functionality that your business probably needs. From this, I would adopt the 80% rule. So the 80% rule is that find a solution that meets 80% of your needs. Don't look for a solution that needs to meet 100% because that's unlikely to exist. At the same time, if you need to actually hit 100% of your features, you probably need customizations which will delay the project further. So just pick a solution that meets about 80% of your feature needs and then move into what is a proof of concept. So a proof of concept is essentially a time box project. It could be anywhere between 2 to 6 weeks, depending on complexity. So during this period, you would actually use the software and run it as you would actually use in your daily business, and then evaluate whether it's a good fit for your business. How do you evaluate whether it's a good fit for your business? So the key things I've realized over the years that are important are fundamentally, it needs to be easy to use. If the solution is not easy for your employees or your stakeholders to use, it's unlikely to be taken up. Secondly, it needs to be easy to manage. It must be easy to sign up new users. It must be easy to onboard them. And at the same time, it should be something that when you've implemented a solution, it is so clear the impact on your business and it meets the objective that you set up in the first step. And finally, you need to have good vendor support. You can test this out by sending in different requests at different times to see how responsive and how good your vendor support channels are for the solution you picked. So after you run the proof of concept, that's where you need to take a good hard look at the resources that you need. Earlier on, I mentioned that cloud computing should reduce the resources you need, and this will happen in the longer term. But when you first actually kick off the project, you need certain resources in place to get the project off the ground. Make sure you have that. Make sure you're aware what's the time you need to commit to get the project off and running. Understand what's the financial cost. Identify any grants you can tap. And finally, also have very clear key performance indicators or KPIs. Once you've ironed out all these details, you can launch the project. And the key things I would call out are, first have a clear change management path. Map out what's the change in process, what's the change in resource, communicate those changes within the organization, ensure that there is good user training so users can be confident on the new platform, and also continually track progress and change. So these 5 key steps are what I would take to in terms of actually kicking off your cloud computing project and avoiding analysis paralysis. So with that, I've come to the end of my presentation. A little bit more about BIQMIND. We can help with 3 key areas. One is actually to run workshops. We help you iron out your cloud computing projects, as well as we do provide consulting and resources to help execute the project, and cloud native tools for you to use some of today's most current cloud native technologies such as Kubernetes in a much easier manner. So and with that, I've come to the end. My contact information as well as that of a few colleagues are captured. Please do let us know if we can help in any way, and enjoy the rest of this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joanna. Thank you, Joanne. Thank you so much. Now, we want now to also talk about the different types of cloud. So Joanne has brought us a very good introduction about all the ways to go digital. Now we're going to give our time to Feng Wei from Alibaba Cloud to talk about us through the different types of cloud model there are. Feng Wei, over to you.
Thank you, Alvin. Can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you. Thank you.
All right, great. Thanks, Joanne. It's a very comprehensive introduction to the cloud technology, as well as how we can get started with cloud. So in this session, I'll be talking about the cloud service models. Basically, there are 3 models: IaaS, PaaS, as well as SaaS model. My name is Feng Wei. I'm a solution architect with Alibaba Cloud based in Singapore. And thanks for joining us today. So when we talk about the IT service kind of thing, right, I think 10 years ago, let's say you need some software for your business. What happens is usually you need to buy a hardware like a server, like a disk, like network switches. Those are typically the infrastructure layer. Now, if you have an IT department, right, you will ask them to develop certain software. Then the IT department will also need to build this platform like database, Java, some kind of service. Then they develop the application and run the application on top of this infrastructure, right? Or alternatively, you can actually purchase a piece of software, but usually you still need to run the application on top of the server in your environment. Sometimes it's your data center, you rent from the data center service provider, or sometimes you actually put the server inside your office. Okay, so similarly to the cloud environment, we categorize the 3 different types of cloud service. We call it infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, as well as software as a service. Okay, so let me discuss a little bit further. So I start from the bottom, right? Infrastructure as a service basically are the cloud service providers who will provide the compute, storage, as well as networks, right? So there's a very famous cloud service providers like AWS, like Microsoft Azure, as well as Alibaba Cloud. We will provide the computing resource, storage resource, as well as network resource. But for majority of the business owners, especially I think from no IT background, right? You actually more concerned about the software as a service as well as the platform as a service. So platform as a service is actually to run on top of the infrastructure, but provide some existing platform, like development platform, like a database, like some MQ, message queue, that kind of service. Then lastly is the software as a service, right? So majority of the business, right, when you started to adopt the cloud, you probably want to focus on software as a service. So applications like the Office 365, Dropbox, some of the accounting firm like QuickBooks, right? Those kind of service, you do not need to install anything. in your premise, you can basically consume those services on the cloud, right? So that you do not need to spend your effort, your human resource, and your money to maintain and operate the infrastructure as well as the platform. So companies like BIQMIND, as well as I think some of the vendors later on, majority of them are talking about the software as a service. So let me give a very simple Singaporean analogy to understand further what is IaaS and what is PaaS and what is SaaS, right? So on top is we are talking about like building a space to provide some functions, mainly the family living, right? On the bottom is RT, is a different type of cloud resource, cloud service type, right? So I think 10 years ago when we built IT application, right, it's more like we built a bungalow in the compound kind of environment. You build everything from scratch, right? The bricks, the walls, the decoration inside the house, everything, you do everything, right? So that is a space is to build, to provide some function, but you build everything by yourself. Then we move on to like HDB type, right? HDB without renovation is basically the bricks and the windows, right? You can live, but you still need to do a lot of decoration to convert this space to be something functional and meaningful to you. So this is, in IT, this is like an infrastructure as service. Your computers, you buy a computer, but the computer itself doesn't really provide any function unless you install the software on top of it. So this is infrastructure as service. Then we also think later on we have HDB that with basic renovation. So this is very much like a platform as a service, right? It's a renovator, but it probably doesn't have those appliances, those decorations inside there. So it's not really, no, it's still not 100% functional, but it's very easy for you to decorate into something that is meaningful to you. So lastly is a software as a service. Software as a service is something that is already have very special functions, like a hotel, like some special meeting room, exhibition centers, right? It's renovated, it's functional, right? So I think to get started with the cloud technology, right? For most of the business, we start from the software as a service. But as your business grow and you want to tailor your software, then you start to engage a professional team like BIQMIND, like some other service, cloud service vendors to help you to build your very tailor-made kind of application. Then you start to think about platform as a service and infrastructure as a service. All right, so as I say, I'm from Alibaba Cloud. I will just give a very quick introduction of Alibaba Cloud. So Alibaba Cloud is actually #1 in China. We are also #1 in Asia Pacific. We have about 20% market share about Asia Pacific, including China, Japan, as well as Southeast Asia, right? On the global level, we are number 3 after Microsoft as well as AWS. We provide majority is infrastructure as service as well as platform as a service, but we also have some software as a service offering, like ThinkTalk, which I think Ivan will be cover that later on. That's all from me. Thank you. Hand over back to Ivan. Thank you.
Hey, thank you so much, Feng Wei. I think a great overview of cloud solutions and great overview. We definitely have a lot of questions for you, which we will get from you. Now, next up, and last but not least today for our sharing, we have Chin Yong from Fun Learners. Now, Chin Yong, as you can see, is a teacher, right? You can see from his view. So where he's really going to come in today to share with you guys is an actual end user experience about using cloud software and how it helped enhance the learning experience in his thing. So think of it as a case example. So without further ado, Chin Yong, over to you. And I can see your slides perfect.
Hi, thank you, Ivan. Thank you for Joanne and Feng Wei as well for the very comprehensive explanation about cloud computing. So today I'm going to share with you how is it that even the private education industry can be used to, we can actually use cloud computing to try to enhance our services as well as to survive during this very tough period for everybody. So I'm just, going back to teaching mode. So just to show that in this case, we start off with a physical class that every one of us knows, the traditional classroom at the teacher in a physical presence. They will be able to engage the students directly. Well, this is the gold standard actually. And also there's also physical assessments where you can have exams, tests, because which will give reliable results. Because the teachers will be able to, see whether if the child is answering the questions objectively, right? Yeah. So of course, there comes cloud computing. It's a time when we use like online learning. We introduce them in where these are considered to be a lesser substitutes to the actual physical class. As you can see, there are half ticks there. Okay. So basically, it's only 1 tick compared to 2 ticks by the physical class. So, but of course, we refuse to let these realities seep in. Okay, yeah. So, in about year 2017, we actually look into enhancing the physical class, or rather the classroom experience without the physical class. Yeah. So, first of all, we look at how is it that students can learn at their own convenience. And from YouTube, you can see that there is pre-recorded videos. So what we do is we actually pre-record our lessons so that the students can learn things that are rather repetitive, okay, in all classes. And on the other side, we also look at how is it that students don't have to travel, all the way to our learning centers. So what we do is we want to let them have a convenience of learning from home, so that there's an alternative there. And learning from home actually has got something very, very crucial, which is parental monitoring. Yeah. So parents at home, they can bear witness to what their child is learning. Yeah. Through the online interactive class. And what we do is we also, have recording functions for the online interactive class, and that's actually together with the pre-recorded lessons allows for multiple reviewing. So basically, students can watch it multiple times. But if you go to a physical class, whether or not the moment class ends, that's it. Okay, yeah, the notes are taken down. If they're not, child is not paying attention, then it's a problem. Yeah. So whereas for the online class, it actually allows the students to, the parents to review together with the students as well. Now, talking about assessment, therefore we start to think: is there another way, all right, to overcome these physical assessments that a physical class does have? So what we do is we look at e-assessment, and for that to work, okay, you can enhance on the assessment criteria, which is not just to give a mark, okay, to tell where the student stands, but it can be used for learning function as well. So therefore, what we do is we work with a vendor which provides this service. Okay, yeah, we upload our curriculum. So it is an AI platform. It allows the students to learn from their mistakes, allows the practice parts of the learning, okay, as well as to allow the teachers to do testing as well as performance review. So assessment is always the most crucial part of the learning process, because it allows the teacher to understand where the student stands so that you know what to teach next. Yeah, yeah. So you'll never be able to do away with the PSL actually. Okay, yeah. So just to give everybody an idea, what are the things that we have to deal with in order for us to come up with this pre-recorded lessons as well as the online interactive. We don't just use Zoom. What we do is we develop a platform, and this platform is called Annabelle. It allows teachers, in fact, other learning centers to put their courses on this platform as well. For Sports On, it is like a learning management system, but it is AI enhanced. So it actually allows us to put our curriculum, our questions up there, so that students can do the assignments by themselves at their own convenience as well, right? So I just want to share with you, this is the interface. Okay, these are the things that we have to consider, rather than just using off-the-shelf service directly. What we do is we simply take the off-the-shelf service, we integrate that into the web interface, so that the customers will see a branding, this cohesive, coherence, and brand. Okay, yeah. So you can see that this is the place where they can join the online interactive class. Okay, this is a place for the self-study video, the pre-recorded lessons, and also the recording of the live interactive class. This is the the Sports On, which is the AI enhanced question bank. Okay, yeah. Of course, we have to employ additional manpower to upload these materials up, and not only that, we do have a video review. Okay, so that every questions is loaded with a explanatory video, so that the students can click on the questions and they will be able to watch the video explanation by a teacher. All right. So this is the AI components. Okay, yeah, where we are able to map out the students' knowledge points, because all these knowledge points we have to input into the AI system, so that they will be able to extract the students' knowledge points and put it into a radio chart. Okay, yeah, a radar chart in this case, for the parents, students, as well as the teachers to note what are the things to cover next for the child, right? So basically, this is the end of my introduction, okay, of how is it that we use our services. And of course, this is some of my credentials over here. I'm one of the textbook writers in Singapore. I'm still a doctoral student, writing my thesis now, okay, under this condition, okay, yeah. So I actually am focused in pedagogies as well as adoption of EdTech, okay, and development, right? So thank you very much. Yeah, this is my presentation, right? Yeah. So
thank you so much, Dr. Chin Yong. Soon, hopefully.
No, okay.
Soon enough, we'll be addressing you as Dr. Chin Yong already. Thank you so much. Oops, sorry, I need to share my screen again. I think I'll cut off. Hold on. All right. Hey, thank you so much to our speakers today. Maybe you can get our three speakers, Joanne, Feng Wei, and Chin Yong, to continue keeping your screen open for me. Keeping your camera open. We have some questions for you guys while I put on the screen share. Thank you so much. And of course, Joanne. Hi, Joanne. Let me just make sure that Joanne's here. All right, our audience member, we're gonna give you guys some time. We have about 15 minutes to take some of your questions. I would like to ask you guys to post us a question at the same time, help us do the industry survey. The industry survey will help us guide and give good recommendations for the government of Singapore, especially when it comes to policy decision on cloud. So all of you have been given an introduction of cloud. You know what cloud is now. Hopefully this clarify your understanding. Maybe the first question for Feng Wei. What are examples of PaaS platform, PaaS, since it's very close to SaaS already? Yeah, Feng Wei?
Yeah, thanks. I think this question comes from Juliana, right? So, hey,
yes.
Thanks for asking this question. So PaaS is usually the platform or software that we provide. It doesn't have business meaning. For example, a database, right? A database, you cannot directly use it for your business. So software has a purpose. So that's the difference between the PaaS and software as a service. So typical example will be, as I see, the database, what we call the RDS service, whether it's on AWS or Alibaba, we call it RDS is a database service. So previously, right, for you to run the database, you need to install a piece of software, which is Oracle, MySQL, on top of the server. But on the cloud, we provide the database direct to you. You do not need to install the software. You do not need to actually manage software. You also do not need to manage the underlying infrastructure. However, this platform, it doesn't have business meaning. It need to be utilized by the software to store the business data. So that's why it's a PaaS. So we have typical product could be like a API gateway, like a Kubernetes container service, like in Alibaba's terms, we also have like MQ, message queue, those kind of or even for like for us, some of the big data suite, right? Those are considered as platform as service, so that the end business, they can actually utilize those platforms to develop their own software or their own application. So I hope this answers the question.
All right, I think so. It clarifies, there's no business case for PaaS because, you need some form of application layer over PaaS itself. And PaaS platform companies will be like Alibaba Cloud. They're here to provide you the system itself, and you can build things over it. Thank you so much, Feng Wei. Now, a question for, Chin Yong. So tuition center, which is like fund learners, right? Circuit breaker phase 2, you guys will be able to operate again. Do you see your cloud thing that you have built through software as a long-term solution, or once it opens back to physical, you're going to go back to physical classes?
Going forward, the trend would very much be cloud computing will be here to stay. So those online services that we are providing, we don't build it just for COVID. What we do is basically COVID itself has become an accelerator to in terms of hastening the acceptance level by parents for this kind of online learning solutions. So because even the schools are adopting it as well in home-based learning.
All of this is not just for COVID, and once we go back to phase 2, we can resume life, right? You see this as a long-term solution that you'll be adopting this cloud software over and hopefully transition more of your parents, of your clients to this as well, right?
Yes, it's definitely for the long run, and because education has to be reformed as well.
Got it. Thanks so much, Chin Yong. A question for Joanne then, what are the potential risks for a cloud solution from a very neutral and IT vendor, not say IT, consultant perspective? What will be the risks that we see for using cloud platforms, and any way we can mitigate the risk? For one, I think a lot of people are very concerned about data security. So how can we talk about these risk factors?
I think that one core consideration is in terms of the I would say how stable the vendor solution is in terms of how long it's been in the market. So let's take, for example, webinars. Webinars have been very used a lot during this COVID period.
Yeah.
And as a result, there are a lot of different webinar solutions out there. But the thing with webinar solutions is that the baseline of what is needed for a webinar solution, you can actually buy certain things and put the solution together. So one thing you need to look at for a webinar provider, for example, is how long has the provider been in the industry. So that's where you have solutions such as Zoom, such as GoToWebinar, which have been there for very long. So that matters in the sense that you know that they have done this for a while, and the vendor will still be around if you're using this solution for longer. So I think that that is one key risk because there's so many solutions. That's why analysis paralysis also happens. The second key risk is in terms of, I think, jumping on a solution too fast and loading all your data in, and in a sense, kind of getting on board with a solution that you're not really sure meets your business needs. And I think that will create harm in the sense that you might find that after you've put in a lot of effort initially, you can't actually use the solution. So that is why I've actually recommended doing a very quick solution evaluation, then running a POC, and they'll go into a solution. But and that also will solve the data security issue, because when you are looking at the POC phase, that's also when you need to also evaluate how well does the platform handle data privacy, what's the security of the platform, what's the uptime. So that goes to a layer of technical things, but taking an approach whereby you evaluate it first, then you POC it, will help reduce some of these risks.
Got it. Thanks so much, Joanne. Now I want to go back to Feng Wei, right? Some of your competitors have, in the cloud space, we shall not name, have a lot of built application over their infrastructure, things like Elastic, things like storage cloud. Does the Alibaba Cloud have that form of services as well? Or is it really just, here's a server, here's the infrastructure, that's it? Or do you guys have already a built environment? I think in this region, we're not that familiar with Alibaba Cloud yet.
Yes. All right, so definitely Alibaba Cloud is provide what we call the full stack cloud service, not just the infrastructure. We also provide the PaaS. We also have some, I think in terms of PaaS, right? We basically, you see there's a basic computing resource Then on top of it, we also have AR and big data.
Mm-hmm.
Then on top of it, we also have some kind of middleware to run your applications. So it's, I will see, I think as compared to AWS, we are about 90 to 95, close to that. I think as compared to Google and Azure, we are probably offer more service than them. So it's a very comprehensive software service offering. Of course, sorry, I didn't got the chance to present the full everything I think in today's session. But if you are interested, feel free to reach out to Alibaba Cloud. So Alibaba Cloud here in Singapore, we have a big team. We are now right now, of course, we are working from home, but our office in AXA Tower. So feel free to just visit us. We are a full stack service, cloud service provider. So we basically provide everything.
I want to take this time also to mention our thanks to Alibaba Cloud. So for those of you who are thinking of adopting cloud solution, obviously you can go to Alibaba Cloud and start the service. So they're going to give you guys $1,000 in free credits to use. So don't even need any government grants. This is a great offer. But of course, you will still need to speak with companies like BIQMIND for Joanne and Chin Yong itself to learn about what you can do, because they're literally giving you a paintbrush. Here's a big paintbrush. You need to decide how to use the paintbrush effectively. Now, I want to take a few more questions before I pass my time over. But just a quick one, I want to address things from a neutral perspective. Someone asked me, is there an advantage of splitting your server software across multiple regions and across multiple cloud vendors? I would say that, for most of our guests here, you guys are SME. Within the single vendor, it's already very hard to split your server services. If you are thinking of using 4 different IaaS services to split your cloud, you are talking about very high level route routing followed by RDS technology. Perhaps not something you want to explore. A lot of our Singapore-based cloud provider, like Alibaba Cloud already, is very solid and very strong. Feng Wei, maybe you can tell us what's your uptime last year.
So I think a very good analogy is like in Singapore we have this utility provider, right? So actually you don't need to tap into multiple utility providers, but you need to think about the compatibility, right? So when you, for example, you need to make sure that the platform that you onboard is open, right? For example, it's very easy to migrate the service from Alibaba Cloud to AWS, as well from AWS to Alibaba. Right? It's basically very easy to migrate over. But if, let's say, if you want to, if it's your cloud service provider is very specialized, then there's a lock-in effect. Then you need to be aware. Also for the product, my suggestion is you go for those common service rather than very specialized application, because it's very difficult for you to exit. Right? So it's not really. I think for most of the business, I think multi-cloud strategy is not necessary at the moment.
Yes.
Right. But you just need to be aware of the lock-in effect. That's it.
Unless our friends here in the business world, you guys are thinking of opening the next Netflix or Disney Plus, where you're talking about edge computing. Exactly. Let's just start small. One vendor, majority of the vendors, including Alibaba, have very, very high uptime. Your business will not be severely affected. In fact, I think it's even higher uptime than you put it in office, because when you put in office, your own server, sometimes got power shutdown, electrical maintenance. These are already very stable infrastructure. I just have one final question for Chin Yong. So Chin Yong, you don't have to give us specific numbers, but let's talk about cost. I would think that Fund Learners is very much like a Singapore SME. When you invest in all of this, was it worth it? Like, apart from the fact that we had to do it because of COVID-19, but you guys were built on Bamboo and on Alibaba Cloud. Was the cost worth it? And was it a lot of cost in terms of capital versus operating costs?
Yeah, the cost itself is a lot of it is sunk into development costs. And of course we have it's not just the IT costs. We do have the manpower costs in terms of getting our teachers, to redesign the curriculums to make it online. So these are the things where we have to consider as well. Of course, there is also this time cost. We spend about 2 years, 3 years, from scratch in terms of going back to the drawing block, redesigning the whole student learning process, and how is it that our teachers are going to fit in. A lot of R&D work involved. So definitely this we hope to see that this goes in for the long run, so that we can recover the cost as well. Yeah.
Got it. So the capex really is not in terms of the server anymore. It's really about the human time to reinvent your work. And actually the cost of cloud has dropped tremendously, I'm sure, right? That is actually a very, very small fraction of the total cost. Thank you so much, Shin Yong. Thank you so much, everyone. Today, we're so lucky to have Joanne, Feng Wei, and Shin Yong share with us. Their slides, I'm very happy to say, have already been uploaded to isolation.sg. Click on the past webinar. All their emails and information are available there, so you can quickly drop them an email if you ever need. So thank you so much to the three of them. Thank you. Before, Joanne, sorry, I think I'm muted. So thank you, Shin Yong. Thank you, Feng Wei. Thank you, Joanne. Thank you. Now, before I pass the time over, I just want to give you guys a quick sharing. So apart from that, Alibaba has a few other solutions available. Today's webinar is made possible with them. So we want to talk about also their Ding Talk Lite. It's a networking working solutions. Think of it as a mobile application that you guys can use to basically chat with each other to work remotely. As well, they are, for those of us thinking of entering the Chinese market, they're the #1 cloud provider in China for sure. And here are some of the free resources they can provide. So very thanks to Joanne from BIQMIND. She has a very quick half-a-day assessment tool to help you look at your modernization effort, and also a remote working coaching session. These are all available for free, and you can click on the links above. All right, so that is from my side. Thank you so much for joining me as always. Do remember, tomorrow we have the talk sharing about the budget #4. Okay, so now today I want to pass my time over to Wan Sing, Sun Tian, and Suresh from the SGTech Cloud and Big Data chapter to talk to you about the solution. So for Shrivant, who asked us a question, we do have a marketplace. You guys will be hearing the marketplace for cloud solution now. So Wan Sing, over to you.